It's showtime.
Hello, welcome to...
Sorry, Jake.
What?
I'm
What?
gonna cut you off real quick.
Okay.
Hello and welcome to Survivor After Dark, where I, Tom Powell, talk with my best friend Jake Scheidel about the sensual pleasures of Jeff Probst and the hosting that he does on Survivor, and also everything else related to Survivor. Jake, how are you on this fine evening? The December crisp air, making everyone's nipples hard.
I'm doing great.
Oh yeah. All right, we're gonna kick to a break right now. We got some Barry White, and then some Barry Gibb after that. Not the Bee Gees, just Barry Gibb solo albums that I assume he has. I don't know. We'll find out. And then Barry Bonds by Kanye West.
Is that a speech by Barry Obama?
Sorry. This is turned from Survivor After Dark to the podcast Oops All Berries.
Here's what I was going to call it. Did you watch Survivor last night? Because we're recording at night.
Oh, well, that's okay. I think mine is better, but...
Here's the thing. It's daylight savings time, or we're not in daylight savings time, so every episode is after dark. I'm just saying. Technically speaking...
what are you talking about? We record at like 11 a.m. or noon.
The Survivor, though, is after dark.
Yeah, but us talking about it is the after dark part.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we don't have to get in this argument right now.
Yeah, because you just lost it. We're good.
All right, Thomas. Hey, I got a question for you. Did you watch Survivor last night?
Nobody likes you when you're 23, and they're still more amused by TV shows. What the hell is ADD? My friends say I should act my age. What's my age again?
I did, and I've got a question for you, Jake.
Yeah.
Are you ready to get sexy? Because Survivor After Dark is kicking it into high gear right now.
We're
gonna cut to some Al Green right now, and then I don't have any other jokes. That's all the jokes I have. Clean out.
All right, let's get into this episode. This episode was called "About to Have a Rumble," which I think is a good episode title.
It's a little clumsy, but it's certainly not. I wouldn't say it's a bad title.
It's fine. Maybe it's not one of the best ones, but it's better than a lot of them this season.
Jake,
hey, we're down.
Do you think as part, because I don't believe that we've done this before, do you think as part of our, the Survivor finale extravaganza when that comes, we should because we love to do this, we should rank all the titles of the episodes for the season?
Yes. I absolutely
I thought you might say that.
Well, before we get to that, we have to get through this episode. We're down to the nifty 9. Like the 15 nifty United
fine
States.
9.
The fine 9, that would have been good too. Let me start over. We're down to the fine 9. The 9 sexiest people on Survivor this season are in this episode. Brett. Sunday. Brett's friend. Zeke. The other person. Hannah.
Several other people.
A few other people, and that's 9
This
of
guy
them.
will say something.
So we start off at camp as per usual. Hannah feels guilty about Jess's ousting. And Dave is upset that he used his idol. Oh, fucking hindsight,
Also,
Dave.
Hannah should not feel guilty. Dave should feel guilty, which he does. But it wasn't Hannah's fault. Dave played the idol
Hannah's
for the wrong person.
neurotic person, though. Yeah, Dave, you fucked up, dude. The Secret thanks his people for sticking with him. Jay says that he wants to send home David next. And then Zeke says that this tribal was all about me and David going to war, and I definitely won.
No,
and then he says...
To be clear, he says he won the battle.
Battle, excuse me. And then he says, I feel like I'm going to the final 5.
So you could say he's confident.
I would say he's going to the final 5 minutes of this episode.
Maybe that's what he meant.
Probably. That's probably what he meant. And then Ken goes to Tree Mail and gets his legacy advantage. And then he says that he loves Jess. And it was a real sweet moment.
Very sweet moment.
Everybody, that whole alliance, they're all real sweet to each other.
Love that alliance.
I love when people become friends on this show, like legitimate friends. That's nice. Then Ken says, I feel like I've got a really good shot to give myself and my daughter a better life. What a good thing to say. I've turned around so hard on Ken, the secret millennial. In the beginning I was like, this guy, no thank you. Stop it with your weird voice and your fake child. But now I'm like, keep going with your weird voice and your fake child.
Get that money for your fake child. Buy your fake child some Power Wheels or whatever.
Yeah. With all that money, you can buy a real child.
Yeah, and then buy that real child the Power Wheels.
Yeah.
Did you, Jake?
You got the life,
Kenneth. Did you
Kenneth.
ever have a Power Wheels at any point? I feel like I would know if you had when you were younger.
No, I don't think I did.
I did. I wanted one very badly.
I did too. They were really cool. I feel like my grandma had one for some reason, and so I would always play on that when we would go over there. My grandma had a cart, like a flat cart that you would put like your garbage pails on, so you could like move them down the driveway
really
or something.
Or
Yeah. But me and my cousins would just use it as like a scooter, so like 2 or 3 of us would sit on the flat cart, and then another one of the bigger kids, would just like race down the sidewalk with it. It was such a good time. Now we're all adults and we can't do that.
Until I think I got like a Razor scooter when I was like, I want to say like 9 or 10, because that was when it was like a huge thing. I did not have any kind of other than like a bike, of just like transportation stuff. The thing that always comes to mind with me is the Fisher Price cars that they had that you had to move with your feet. Yeah. You had to
the Flintstone style.
Yeah. You had to drive through the courtesy of your own feet.
Mm-hmm. I thought you meant like the literal cars, not literal cars, but like the ones that looked like real cars.
I was talking about
right?
metaphorical cars. The cars were inside you all along. The car is coming from inside the house.
I thought, you know those ones that you like, they drove at like 5 miles an hour or whatever, and they just buzzed the whole time? And rich kids had them?
Yeah, those are Power Wheels.
Those are Power Wheels. When you said Power Wheels, I thought you meant like those tricycles that you would sit on, and they had the really big front wheel.
Oh, those are called a big wheel.
Big wheel. My mistake.
I don't know that I ever wanted a big wheel very badly, but I always wanted a Power Wheels. I wanted my Hummer, or like I guess it would have been like an Escalade Power Wheels. I know they made those.
I'm sure they still do. Do you want to get into this reward challenge?
Do it.
It's the Loved Ones Challenge. Yay! We've been looking forward to this all season.
Sure have. Get ready for the waterworks, because there were a lot. It was monsoon season.
Stupid. First to show up is Sunday's husband. His name is Jeff, but he's not Jeff Probst. Did you know that? Did you know that from when you watched the episode, that it wasn't Jeff Probst who came out of the jungle?
Wouldn't it be great if Jeff was like, your husband, Jeff! And then just another Jeff Probst ran out and high-fived him.
There's 2 of us.
Oh. I've been cucking this Jeff.
Then we get Brett's dad, Don, Jay's sister, Melanie, Hannah's mom, Liz, and then Hannah tells Jeff, the real Jeff, that Liz, her mom, beat cancer. And then Adam starts bawling. Ooh. Actually, it was
I was going to say, don't do that. I think with Hannah, it was a nice moment. I think Jeff undermined it by asking about 4 times, being like, well, normally it's the parent that comforts the child, but things are reversed here.
Also, no, it's not, Jeffrey. Remember when Sierra was on Blood vs. Water and she voted her own mom out? Remember that?
No, Jeff, you didn't think about that because you only think about yourself and the clone of you that is married to Sunday.
Speaking of Adam, we meet his brother Evan, and then Adam tells him about the advantage, but says he's not going to use it because he can't take this moment from all these people.
This is very emotional.
It was a very sweet moment from Adam. Dave's dad, Doug, shows up. Ken's brother, William. Zeke's brother, Sam. When Will's mom, Irene, who, I was surprised to learn, was a human woman and not a whale like we suspected. I was so
prepared for the whale to come out. Also, wasn't it...
I turn around. There's Will's mom, that whale.
Like, jumps out of the water. I love you, son. Wasn't it Zeke's dad? I thought Zeke's dad was there.
What is it? His dad? Well, in my notes it says brother.
Well, I mean, if his brother's like 40 years older than him, then...
Look, man, it was a different time.
Now? Now was a different time?
Yeah.
They recorded this several months ago. It was a different time back then.
Well, it's like people sometimes have like 20, 30, 40 years between their youngest and oldest sibling. Like, it's not that strange.
America isn't great, but it could be. Back when they recorded this.
Yeah.
It's like the newsroom, you know?
Just 6 months ago. Mm-hmm. That show that is still on is not still on.
Thank God.
Oh, well, who cares? Irene, the human, says, remember when you were a little kid and I said I'd go anywhere for your smile, even Timbuktu? Well, here I am in Timbuktu. Irene, love you. Timbuktu is a real place, and it's not this place, but I still love you.
I mean, you're wrong, but...
I just want you to know that.
Jeff somehow is wearing glasses and walks up behind her and pushes them up his nose and is like, actually, you're not in Timbuktu right now. Also, Neil deGrasse Tyson is there somehow and chuckles and says something really fucking condescending.
Throughout this whole segment, there's a lot of shots of Adam tearing up, and that's real sweet. Yeah, you're supposed to feel for him because, you know why? Because he's going to win.
I mean, maybe he, we'll get to it, but I get why he did it, but a little tactical error at the end of this one.
We'll see. I've got my own theories about what happened. So they have to attach a rope and then run through a bunch of obstacles. And Jay wins. And then he's told he can bring one more person on the reward, and he picks Will the whale child. And then he's told he can bring one more, and he picks Sunday. And then finally there's one more, and he says, me and Adam have been brawling this whole damn time. Come on, man. And it's real nice.
Do you think that if he had picked, do you think that Jeff would have kept giving him extra people to go on the reward until he picked Adam?
Until he picked Adam? I think that's exactly what happened, yeah.
If Jay had picked up on that, he should have held out so everyone could have gotten to go on the thing with their loved one.
Well, I don't think Jay was going to pick up on that. Like, he picks the other 7 people, and he's like, all right, fine, one more. It's like, no, I don't think I want to do that. This is a good group right here.
That would be at the point where he would, if he was doing that, Adam would just be like, all right, well, I'm going to steal the reward then.
Yeah, really. Jay says that he respects Adam for not playing his advantage. And then at their little picnic thing, Adam gives his advantage to Jay. That's fine, Adam.
It was nice.
Stupid.
It's not.
It was nice. I understand why you did it.
It doesn't really have any significant... It's not like a real chip of any kind. Like, it's not like it affects the game very much.
That's what you think, but if they have the, what's it called? The auction, I feel like he could use it to steal somebody's auction item, which is often an even more important advantage than this one. But maybe they won't do that this time. I don't know. Adam tells us, I'm playing for so much more than $1 million and the title of Soul Survivor.
I'm playing for $2 million.
And then Jeff walks up. No, you're not. You're not doing that.
Are we not? I thought... Oh, well, okay.
I thought I signed a contract where I said that I was going to do that.
Well, I guess I'm playing for exactly $1 million.
Yeah. No taxes. No new taxes. He's a big George H.W. Bush fan.
It was weird when he recited that whole speech verbatim.
Seen a talking head, and they left the whole thing in. Like, what are you doing?
And then he was like, not gonna do it. Wouldn't be prudent.
Will thinks he doesn't get enough respect within his alliance and talks to Dave about taking out Zeke
Real
because
Bret Hart
otherwise
over
he
there.
will
Real
win.
CM Punk. No respect. Real Rodney Dangerfield.
Real Rodney Dangerfield. Dave says there's a really good chance Zeke's going home tonight. Would you say you're confident in that, Dave? Or do you just think there's a good chance?
I think saying there's a...
That terminology is important.
There's a good chance. Like, he didn't say, like, Zeke is going home tonight. That would be too confident.
Mm-hmm. No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, he picked his words well. At the immunity challenge, they have to... Oh, whoops. Did I skip Real World Roundup?
Well, too late.
Well, here's all you need to know about Real World Roundup. You know that dude who I hate, Dave? Nope.
No.
What's his name? Mike?
No, I don't.
He looks like a bird. He was on Are You the One, and I don't like him. He said some racist shit and then got really mad when people called him out on it, so he left.
Good.
Yeah, I'm really happy.
I wish that I could leave this segment, not on account of saying racist things, but...
That's what you say now, but I recall an episode of our show in the past where you said that you wished Congress was all white. You remember that? I'll never forget.
Just to clarify,
like 9/11, I'll never forget that you said you wanted Congress to be all white.
Post me saying Congress should be all white. America right now. If you go like pop culture was very different before that sort of sea change.
It was a different time.
But to be clear, to clarify, because I haven't addressed this since then. What I meant was that I want everyone in Congress to have the last name White because I think it would be very funny. How would they be able?
Sure.
How would they be able to tell who they're like giving time to, or you know, like?
Sure. Say that now.
I just think it's a funny premise.
I feel like you could do the same joke with a different last name.
I'm sorry. I believe the proper response to that is yes and motherfucker.
What about Smith? Remember that whole movie about Mr. Smith and his going to Washington? Smith, a very popular
name. For a second I was like, what, you mean like Mr. and Mrs. Smith? The very popular movie starring
both of them.
Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie.
That's the one.
And Vincent Vaughn.
Vincent Vaughn is in that movie?
He sure is.
Oh, I guess I forgot about it. The only time I watched that movie was in Nate Baldwin's basement.
No, didn't we? I think we went to the theater to see that with him. Because I remember seeing that in the theater.
Nope, I remember seeing it in his basement because I'm pretty sure I fell asleep.
Maybe I went to see it with him in the theater and then you saw it in his basement. Because I'm confident that I saw it with him.
You're confident?
Oh no, I might lose having seen that.
I think we could all lose having seen that.
I don't think
just
think
like their real life.
By the way, I saw that movie in theaters twice.
What? Why?
I was somewhere with my parents, and we needed to go see a movie, and I liked it at the time, and I was like, I thought it was all right. I'd be willing to see it again, and we did.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw it once and was like, this is fine, and I'm pretty sure I fell asleep halfway through it.
That is a movie that you could very easily fall asleep during.
It's a weird premise for a movie. Like, I kind of like it. They're married, but they're secret agents against each other, right?
I like that they're basically... Brad Pitt is in another movie that basically has the same plot right now. Just in a more Oscar baity kind of way.
It's called Manchester at Sea or something like that.
No.
Just kidding. That's a different movie.
Completely different movie that is much better received.
It looks real... That movie looks bad. Did you see the previews for that movie?
What, Manchester by the Sea?
Yeah.
I mean, it's gotten, like, really, really good reviews, so maybe the trailer's just bad.
I think the trailer just must be bad then, because it looks absolutely awful. So immunity challenge. They have to hold a vertical bar by applying tension to it. Dave is the first person out, and then Hannah, and then Will, Brett, and Sunday. Zeke struggles a bit, and then he falls. Jay slips, and then Jeff says, "Don't let this hot sun bake your mind." Clever wordplay, Jeffrey, because of how Jay's a stoner.
Don't let this 4:20 p.m. sun blaze your mind.
Don't let me spark an ope over here distract you.
You get this bar is not 420 friendly. Certainly not getting any good vibes in this challenge.
So Ken slips, and then Jay slips, and then Ken drops, and then Adam slips, but then Jay drops, which means Adam wins. Are you on Team Adam yet? I know you didn't like him too much in the beginning.
No, I like Adam. I'm rooting for him.
Good. Me too, because he's winning me points. Back at camp, Adam says, "I only have one check box left, and that's winning this game." And then talking about Will's plan, Dave says, "It's like Will's got his driver's license and we're all in the back seat terrified." Fucking give Will some credit, dude. Why you gotta be like this? He's a fine person.
He is, but what is he really... I mean, like, he was kind of involved with getting Michaela out, but I would be a little nervous.
He comes from a tough background, not around a lot of other humans.
Being raised by whales.
Yeah. It's difficult. It's a difficult thing to live with.
It's a real 13th year scenario.
Zeke looks around the camp and notices that Dave is scrambling and says, "What does he have that he's so calm? Something's up." And he suspects Dave of having another idol and suggests that they go for Ken instead. And then Ken and Will talk, and Ken says that he has to know the core of a person to fully trust them. What does that mean, Ken? Will says working with Ken is like getting your fingernails and toenails ripped out at the same time. Will, you learn from your mom. That's a good quote.
That's a little melodramatic. Like, it doesn't seem like... I guess if you're on the outside, like, Ken is a little wary of people that aren't already in his alliance, but he just seems pretty laid back.
Yeah, apparently he's not. Will tells Ken that he's a target, and Ken has the hardest time understanding how that can be the case.
And, makes one of the stupidest decisions I've ever seen anyone make on this show.
Yep. Ken then talks to Jay about Will, and Jay says, "He's just a young kid trying to prove himself to the world, but I still need him." I want Jay gone, too.
I do, too, but, like...
I don't like seeing his face.
Honestly, if Ken had gone home, I would have honestly... Like, part of me was like, I like Ken, but if you fuck up that badly, like, you deserve to go home.
Yeah. Ken explains what he did to Adam, Hannah, and Dave, and Will is annoyed with Ken and says, "I want him gone tonight."
Also, understandably, Adam, Dave, and Hannah are all very confused and mad about that decision.
Mm-hmm. As they should be. So the alliance of Jay, Zeke, Brett, Sunday, and maybe Will consider going for Hannah, but Hannah suspects it. Before going to tribal council, Will says, "I am in control, and there's nothing anyone can do about it." Oh man, I put the wildlife shots out of order. Anyway, let's get into wildlife shots. I don't want to play the music because it's going to be really loud. We got Rolling the Bat, obviously.
Wildlife!
Got a million shots of Rolling the Bat. There we go. We've got the heron. We've got the banded sea crate.
Wait.
Got a weird crab.
Wait, just a sec, Jake.
Yeah, what?
Wildlife! You know, like Borat?
I remember Borat. How could you forget? So there's a weird crab, and there's I think a Pacific boa constrictor. You want to hear about the Pacific boa constrictor?
Is it a boa constrictor that lives in the Pacific?
It is indeed. There's no worry of them becoming extinct. Isn't that good to hear?
That's great.
Sometimes they're used as pets.
Finally, some good news.
They're non-venomous. Boa constrictors can grow up to 13 feet long and weigh 60 pounds, but the Pacific boa constrictors generally only are about 6 feet long. So nothing to worry about.
I'm into this.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind having a pet snake. It just seems like the problem is they're kind of high maintenance in terms of, sort of stuff you have to have for them, but I think they'd be pretty chill.
Yeah, except that everybody looks at you like, oh, that's the kid with the snake.
Yeah, you do. You are kind of using it to define you in a certain way. Also, I don't know how I feel about feeding live animals to, like feeding mice to them.
Yeah, I mean, does it really make a difference? Because, like, you're feeding a cat tuna or whatever, that was alive at one point. Or chicken or whatever, like, just because you're the one to see it. Also, I don't know if a boa constrictor would eat a mouse. I don't know anything about snakes.
Boa constrictors would eat mice.
Boa constrictors would eat anything, right?
No. Why would they eat anything?
Would they eat a cake?
I'm pretty sure they're carnivorous. Why would they eat a cake?
Because cake is good.
They don't have taste buds.
But, like, they would probably learn to grow some if I gave them some cake.
Actually,
like
they probably have taste buds, but I don't think that they really care that much. They're not in food they're into food for aesthetic reasons.
I feel like if they had some really good, dense chocolate cake, they'd be like, oh, I should be eating this. And then they'd all get really fat. Well, and then they would get on the extinction list.
They're too embarrassed to eat the cake because they don't have any hands. And they don't want to just shove their whole face into it.
Yeah. It's not a deer. They'll do that with a deer.
No, there is no natural environment in which snakes are a predator of deer.
Yeah, it's called the fucking jungle.
Deer don't live in the jungle.
I'm pretty sure they do. They're called jungle deer?
Why are you in charge of wildlife shots?
I don't know. Speaking of deer, there was a wildlife shot of a deer on The Real World this week, and I just wanted to point that out because they don't have wildlife shots a lot on that show.
And that was the best they could come up with was a deer.
Well, yeah, because they went out in the jungle, and there was a deer there.
You.
At Tribal, David says there are two sides vying for one swing vote right now.
Like that movie, Swing Vote.
Kevin Costner came to the island as a guest this episode.
Kelsey Grammer
and he has a daughter.
Was it Billy Bob Thornton? I think it was. They have to.
Fuck if I know. I don't know. I never saw that. My parents watched that movie and they told me, and I was like, "What? Why? Why did you watch that?" And they said, "We don't know. It wasn't very good."
Who knows why we do what we do? We certainly don't.
Sunday says he was swayed a bit today, but hopefully he stays with us. And then Will the Whale says, I wasn't swayed, I was the one who came to them. And Zeke says, if I'm here for next tribal council, I will owe my life again to Will. But if he's not at the next tribal council, it's because he died and Will murdered him. That's what he's trying to say.
He'll owe his death to Will.
Jay says that Will is an equal member of the team because they voted out Michaela together. They just have to bring it up every episode. Hey, remember how we voted out the best person? And then Jay tells Will that he's not here to fluff him and to go with his gut.
But how's he going to shoot his hardcore scene?
So they go to vote. Hannah whispers that she thinks it's her. And then Jeffrey, not Sunday's husband, the real Jeffrey, asks for any idols. And Adam stands up and gives him his idol and plays it for Hannah. And then the votes come in. And it was 1 for Hannah, 2 for Hannah, 3 for Hannah, 4 for Hannah.
Does not count.
None of them count. And then we got 1 for Zeke, 2 for Zeke, and a third one for the Secret, which is enough. Because those 4 votes for Hannah.
Pretty crazy last couple of tribal councils.
I guess. I mean, I feel like this tribal council is just what was supposed to happen last tribal council.
Pretty much. But if you look at how the votes went in...
Yep. Would have been Zeke either way.
Yep, Zeke was gone either way, so Adam... I get,
Yep.
you can't be sure, so I get why Adam played the idol.
Yeah. And one of the big things that Will was talking about this episode, this tribal, was like building his resume for Final Tribal Council, which Adam kind of stole from him with this tribal, with that move. It's like, yeah, you took out Hannah, or you saved Hannah and voted out Zeke. But it kind of looks like I saved Hannah, and that's going to be really helpful for me in Final Tribal. So that's a smart move. Even if it was unnecessary, it was still a good move on Adam's part. So, cheers for Adam.
Yeah, in the short term, I think, or I guess in the long term, it might be a good move, but in the short term, now he doesn't have an idol, so.
Yeah, but he does have, well, no, I guess it's even again.
It's maybe even, depending on what Will does.
Yeah, we'll see next week on Survivor, Millennials versus Gen X.
You mean next time on Survivor.
During his exit interview, The Secret says, playing at this high level makes you want to play better, and maybe one day I will. Maybe one day I will. The whale. Do you think Zeke is going to play again?
I know that Zeke is going to play again.
Oh, did you look it up? Yeah, okay.
He said something in terms of, this was kind of like Michelle getting voted out, where it was like, that's probably something I could have done. But at that point, with Zeke, it's like, he played well. He didn't really do anything wrong.
Yeah, people just, one person turned on him at the right time, and that was it. So as Ponderosa, he lost 11 pounds or something, and he was really upset it wasn't more, because he's trying to lose weight, because he used to be a little fat boy. And then he did shots with Michelle, and she did not give him a haircut, I don't think, which is upsetting. Also, I forgot to mention last week, during Chris's Ponderosa episode, Tails thought it was really funny to, Chris was building a puzzle, and Tails thought it was really funny to, hide pieces and, remove pieces after Chris already put them in the puzzle.
Wait, so Tails thinks it's funny to gaslight him?
Yep. What a great prank.
God, what? Seriously, pranks are a thing that stupid people do. I'm sorry.
You're right.
You're right. Pranks are fucking terrible. They're it's so shitty to the person that you're pulling them on, because it puts pressure on them when you legitimately do something to make someone feel like shit, and then go, "Oh, I was just kidding. It was a prank," and they are the social contract of that shit basically dictates that they have to go, "Oh, haha, it was really funny when you put me through that mental anguish."
At one point, Chris was like, I will buy this puzzle after going home so I can finish it. He's really invested in this puzzle. And Tails was like, but what if I was just real shitty?
What if I was a real dick? Wouldn't that be funny? But it's a joke.
I'm such a charming. I'm such a charmer.
I'm gonna make a charming.
Let's give out LVP and MVP awards this episode. LVP, I think it's got to be the Secret Millennial Kenneth.
Yes,
because he fucked up that whole vote.
Unanimous LVP.
Yeah. MVP, I got to give it to Will's mom. She was just such a sweetie, and she said that funny thing about Timbuktu. And for not being a whale. Most valuable person, Irene. If it was most valuable whale, Will would win it every week, but it's most valuable person.
Oh, I just want to note the scene, or the I guess scene is maybe a little reductive. The segment where it was just a conversation between Will and his brother about what was going on with his mom is maybe the I would say definitely the most emotional thing I've ever seen on a reality television show, and was I was tearing up. It was really, really emotional.
I was so nervous when they were bringing out all the loved ones. It was like, I don't think I'm going to make it through Adam's. And then it was his brother, and so it was okay. But, like, if it had been his mom, I would have... I don't think I would have been able to console myself.
Well, it was also tough because, you know, like, when you're in front of everybody, if you're his brother, you can't really be like... When they hug, he's basically like, she's doing well, she's doing well. And you can't be like, oh, hey, she's not on chemo, she's not receiving treatment of any kind right now. Like... in front of everybody, but that was like him having to break that to Adam was really tough.
Yeah, it was not a fun scene. But it's fucking, they're grooming him for the win. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Speaking of Adam winning this whole game, I got another point for him still being in this episode, and he also received the reward. Which I think last week we said if they receive the award, you get the point. So we both got a point for that. You're at 23 points now. I'm at 24.
Oh, man.
Finally, I'm in the lead. It only took nearly the entire season.
Peaking at the right time.
I'll say. So next week, what happens? Will wants Dave out, and Adam wants Will out. Seems like it'll be a fine episode. At this point, it's like, it's not going to be a bad episode, I don't think.
Nah.
Unless Michelle from last season comes back and wins the whole thing again. That would be funny. How mad would you be?
I would be... Honestly, that would be so out of left field that I would just think it was funny.
They get down to the final 5 and they're like, alright, you guys are a new tribe and we're going to bring in the 5 people who won the last 5 seasons to play against you. Good luck.
What kind of bullshit would that be? I know you guys made it this far, but we're going to bring in a bunch of people that haven't had to do this season, and they're just going to come in and beat you.
Yeah. Idiots. Predictions. I've still got Adam in the game. Thomas, ooh, so sad. Michelle, not getting any points for those haircuts, especially if she's not even doing them. Here's the thing. Here's something, Thomas.
Can I get a point for every haircut that she gives someone from now on?
I will give you a point if she gives the next person who gets voted out a haircut.
Okay.
This is now or never situation for you.
Okay.
Here's what we'll do. If she gives the next person out a haircut, if she gives a haircut of any kind to any person in the next episode of Ponderosa, I'll give you the point. And then for every subsequent episode she gives somebody a haircut in, you'll get a point. But as soon as she stops giving haircuts, that's it.
I'm into it. I like this.
All right. Reward. Let's see who's left. Who do you think is going to win this next reward challenge? Or win the reward? Be given the reward.
Boy, who's still around? I'll say Will. I'll say Will gets the reward.
I was thinking that too, but I want to pick something different than you, so I'm going to say Ken.
Okay.
What about immunity?
I'm going to say Adam wins immunity again.
Ooh, okay. I'm going to put my weight behind Brett. We haven't seen him shine yet.
Well, I don't. Man, I think that might be more against your point than for it. But
what if it's a drinking challenge? What if the immunity challenge is who can drink the most at the reward? Brett would definitely win that.
Well, the thing is, if they did that, I think Will would probably win because he'd be drinking soda.
But it's the challenge is who can drink the most beer. Sorry, I wasn't specific.
Okay, but they couldn't do that because Will couldn't participate then.
Oh, well, it sucks to be Will. Or he can break the law. How badly do you want this, Will?
Will takes a sip of beer and is immediately arrested. Take him away,
gotcha.
Boys.
Who's the next person out?
I try to shy away from what the promos would have you believe because they're almost always misleading. It's the kind of thing where it's the same thing I've learned where the minute the first plan that you see coming into place on an episode almost never comes to fruition. It's the kind of thing where you're like, things are neatly falling into place, so something is going to fuck this up.
Yeah.
So I honestly don't think Will or Dave is going to be the one that's going out.
Okay.
I am going to go, and it might even be, like, I think those might be the two principal parties, excuse me, involved. It's late, my body is starting to break down.
Survivor After Dark. I'm just burping a lot.
My body can't contain all of the sensual energy. Has to expel it in erotic burps and farts.
Gross.
Yeah. That's my fetish, this character. Oh no! No! What are you doing with that gun? Alright, well, that character's dead forever.
Oh no, I liked him so much. Who's the next person to be out?
Guess who shot him, though? It was a clone of himself. I'm back.
Oh, no.
It's me, Survivor After Dark 2. You didn't know, but that was the name of the character, too, is Survivor After Dark.
What a twist.
Look, I don't understand why people are paying M. Night Shyamalan to keep making movies when they could be hiring me to write these scripts. Have you seen the trailer for the movie that he's doing with James McAvoy?
I don't know nothing about it.
It's one of the worst fucking things I've ever seen.
What is it about?
These girls get kidnapped.
Is it called Man in the Water?
Lady in the Water 2, Man in the Water.
No, there's a boy in there too.
It is these girls get kidnapped by James McAvoy, and it's like a pretty stock, like, they're in like a basement or whatever, like a locked off room, but then it turns out that James McAvoy has like 23 personalities or some shit. Like, it's like a stupid multiple personalities thing.
What's it called? Is it called the number 23?
and then James McAvoy's like, what are these shoes doing in the trash? It's really like one of the I sincerely hope that James McAvoy got paid in like 8 figures for this movie because they make him play like one of the personalities is basically like a mentally challenged like 8-year-old. Dude, it's bad. It's really bad. And then it turns into this pseudoscience thing where, like, the multiple personality thing is bullshit anyway, but then it turns into, like, people with this can alter their body chemistry, and it shows him, like, fucking hulking out. It looks unbelievably bad. Like, even for M. Night Shyamalan. It makes Lady in the Water and The Happening look very good.
The last time... I was going to say the last time M. Night Shyamalan tried to do anything with science, we got The Happening.
A movie that was anti-science. A movie that's core message was, whose main character was a scientist who, in his lecture in one of the first scenes of the movie, the introduction to the character is him saying, well, something science will just never be able to explain. Which is a thing that no scientist would ever say. Like, if you ever said that in a science class, you deserve to be fired. And anyway, who's going to be eliminated?
Yeah, who's going to be eliminated?
I'm going to go with Sunday.
That's a good choice. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna bite at the promos and say Will.
Okay.
Because he should go. Because I don't feel like Jay is going to have his back with that idol. And he doesn't have any other close allies. So
He did sort of put himself... He put a target on himself with a lot of people at once.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he made a move. Like, I appreciate him making a move. But it would have worked a lot better if Ken hadn't...
fuck
blown his
everything up.
entire spot up. Like he it would have been a really nice, relatively subtle move, and it turned into something else.
Yes. So that's the episode. We've got maybe 4 episodes left of this season. And I don't think the challenge is starting for a while. So start thinking about what you wanted to do in the meantime.
Yeah, we got to figure that out. Is how many episodes, by the way, until episode 69?
5.
It'd be really nice if the finale episode was episode 69.
Yeah. I was going to say, this is for sure our sexiest episode, but in about a month and a week,
we're going to have
one even sexier.
Potentially sexier, but definitely our nicest episode.
Oh, it's going to be so nice. You just get fucking ready for that. Speaking of this podcast, use the hashtag we invented for it. It's called Ashley from BIP on Survivor. There's a lady on the show Bachelor in Paradise. That's the name of it. Her name was Ashley. We want her on Survivor, so let's get her attention. Say, listen to this podcast, and then go on Survivor. You know what? Don't even listen to the podcast.
Listen to this podcast,
please.
plug the podcast, go on Survivor, plug the podcast some more.
Yeah, like every talking head, be like, I'm only on this because of Did You Watch Survivor last night?
My
which you
best
can rate
friends,
and
Jake
subscribe to on iTunes.
Jake and Tom.
Yeah,
Wish they were here with me, but they're here in spirit because they got me.
Yeah, we wish we were
Jake
there
and Tom
too.
Of Did You Watch Survivor last night? Subscribe on iTunes
and rate. If you rate it 5 stars. Thank you very much. You can also find us on Twitter, DYWSLN. My Twitter is Jake Scheidel.
Yeah, it is. You're right. That is what your Twitter is.
We're also on Facebook. Did you watch Survivor last night?
Follow Drill on Twitter. It's a good account.
Yeah, he's funny. I love one of the best tweets from him is the candles one.
Oh my, the candles one is with his budget where it's like food $250, like rent such and such, candles $10,000. Please help, my family's starving.
So good.
And because we're in the season right now, one of his other best tweets is, I just think it's bullshit that there are like thousands of Christmas songs, but only one song about the boys being back in town.
I love any tweet about the boys and them being back in town. They're all good.
I think the post that I will reblog the most of any post on Tumblr is that one screenshot of just like 3 birds, like 3 little parakeets walking, that just says the boys are back in town in like a subtitle. And it's just like there's like it really is like you can fit your own narrative into it. Like you're just like, oh man, the boys are back, and it's just these 3 birds just like walking around. Like, look at those good boys, they're back in town.
Somebody on Twitter the other day was like, but where were the boys? And I was like, it doesn't matter. They're back in town. Stop
living in the past. We're living in the present.
Exactly.
And right now they're back in town.
The boys are back in town, and we should celebrate. We also have an email that you can email. I like that nouns and verbs are the same.
Yep. And that email is fan69 at...
No, it's not.
It's
not that.
Biz.
It's not that. Speaking of that, did you see that Snap video I sent you?
No,
I sent you a video at Snapchat before we started.
What is the video of?
I'm not going to say it, but
you can't mention it on the podcast and then not say something.
It has to do with your favorite joke on this podcast.
Oh, is it row related? Is it
yes.
related?
It's related. If you do email us, remember to sign it your pal Jeff Probst, because we love that man and we want to hear from him.
We want his child. Me specifically.
We would like to raise his child together. We already talked about reviewing us on iTunes. Do that. I also have another podcast called the Crash Test Podcast. You gotta say it like that. Listen to that also. And that's it. So, I think it's time to say, as always, have a great summer.
Thank you for stopping by, Survivor After Dark. Great job. Wait, that's not what we say, is it? Deuces.
No, deuces.
Stretch up the nets, but the couch won't stay. As the nail beds rest in the calico hay. The PG mermaid, dressed in macrame, is waiting. Road in the fork and a bend in the spoon. The turn cut short at the shadow at noon. Melting like wax, that one's full moon's waning. There's sad taps and insufferable bore. The sharp shots dull as a harpoon sword. When doing as you please doesn't please you anymore.
Let's not sleep until 2:30 next week.
But that's not what... Oh, on Sunday, yeah. No, I did do that.
I know.
Well, and it's not just, let's not sleep until 2:30, it's let's not sleep until 2:30 and also not watch the episode.
Oh yeah.
Did the two things that I needed to do, like get up at a certain time, have watched the show, did not do either of them. Congress should be all white. Congress should be all white.